there's a woman who's been charged in Matthew Perry's death. Matthew Perry, sitcom star from the 90s, he was on Friends, had a problem his whole life, and he died, and the cause of death was acute overdose. Though ostensibly he was taking the to try to get off other drugs. And anyway, this lady who goes by the Ket Queen has been charged. Really good stuff. As America faces the worst drug crisis we've ever faced before, this massive opioid crisis pouring across our open southern border. The border's open because Kamala Harris wants it to be open and has left it open. As that happens, everyone in this country, at the very least, knows someone who's been affected by the fentanyl crisis. And more likely, this has been going on so long, more likely you know someone who died or who suffered an overdose because of it. You know someone personally. I do. I think most people do. One way that you can try to stop this is you got to get tougher on the drug dealers. Like this lady, the Ket Queen, allegedly. And the left doesn't want to do this. The left has been running on letting drug dealers out of jail. And in part, they lie about them being drug dealers. They say, oh, these are people who, they were just carrying a dime bag of marijuana or something. That's almost never true. The people who go to jail for simple marijuana possession pretty much always are taking plea deals, and usually they're drug dealers themselves. So the left has been pushing letting drug dealers out of prison for a long time. And there are many on the right who have been pushing that too. Oh, we need to go a little easier. We need to liberalize drugs during the midst of the worst crisis we've ever faced. And these poor drug dealers, they didn't know any better. They grew up in the ghetto. It's hard, it's tough out there on the streets or whatever. No, these people are now, and maybe this wasn't always true, but now, after so many years of this fentanyl crisis where you don't know, one puff on a joint. When I was a kid, one puff on a joint, you'd be fine. You'd probably cough and look foolish, but you'd be fine. Now, one puff on a joint, you could die because so many drugs are laced with fentanyl, which can just kill you after one puff or one little pill or one little anything. So these drug dealers, I don't care how stupid they are, they know that fentanyl is a major problem. They know, and sometimes they're even consciously aware that it's in their product. These guys are murderers. They're peddling poison, and not even just mild poison. They're peddling lethal poison on people. They need to go to jail for a long time. Okay? And if the left doesn't want to take that ground, at the very least, the right needs to wise up. And I don't know how we think we're pandering to when we say we need to let dealers out of prison. No. The GOP platform should be, we're going to put dealers in prison for a much longer time. When you see these particular cases, especially in this case, that the Queen is a white lady. When it's a black person, then there's this racial issue added onto it, which both parties want to pander about. But when we see this, we say, oh, we like Matthew Perry. He's a nationally beloved figure. And so this lady who was in any way involved in his death, she needs to go to jail. We all feel that. Well, you know what? We love the non-famous people who have been killed by drugs too. Okay? And we need to punish the dealers who kill the non-famous people too. No matter what one's ideology suggests. Now, speaking of centrist and even liberal policies from the right, President Trump is catching some flack from the right because he's come out and he said, look, we need to get really, really tough on illegal immigration so that we can have better legal immigration.
Basically, we're going to drill, baby, drill. We're going to get the energy prices down almost immediately, and we're going to close the border, and we're going to get the crooked ones out, the bad ones out, and we're going to let a lot of people come in, because we need more people, especially with AI coming and all of the different things, and the farmers need, everybody needs. But we're going to make sure that they're not murderers, killers, drug dealers, and that we have largely right now.
Okay, a lot of people who are immigration restrictionists don't like this answer from President Trump. Because the problem with migration is not just that you have these criminals coming over. Well, they're all criminals if they're coming over illegally, but that's not the only problem. Going back to Aristotle, we read that immigration poses major challenges to republics because people just have different cultures, and it's difficult to assimilate people, and people maintain these kind of group identities for a long time. And it turns out diversity usually is not actually the strength of polities. That's the view of classical political philosophy. And then modern liberal philosophy denies reality on so many things, including the nature of a man and a woman, that we now say, yeah, endless mass migration is good, as long as they're good people. But not really. The problem is assimilation. The problem is that a country is more than just an idea. It's a people, and people develop habits and customs over generations, over centuries. And you can't just replace one people with another group of people. So this has irked some people who are immigration restrictionists. However, the reason I wouldn't be too harsh on it is that view, Trump's view on immigration, basically it comes down to illegal bad, legal good, is probably the furthest right view that is politically acceptable today. I'm not saying it's the ideal view, though practical politics is usually not about the ideal. But that is, I don't know. Do you think someone could run on severe immigration restriction? We're just not going to let people in and win an election. It might be a good policy. It works pretty well in the early 20th century, but it probably wouldn't work. So I can't be angry at Trump for not doing something that would be politically dead on arrival and prevent him from winning. I can't really attack him for it. That was a good clip. Now stop, ring the bell, subscribe. Thank you. We'll see you next time.